Hello everybody, Vantage here. Today I want to talk about the current Genshin 5.0 drama that the Hoyo community has been talking about, and now that it's expanding into their other games, mainly being Honkai Star Rail since that's what I cover, let's talk about it. First, let's go over what happened, then we'll talk about some of the arguments against, the changes that people are looking for, and lastly we'll go over my take on the situation. So, what happened? Natlan was just revealed a couple days ago, and let's first start with what Hoyoverse stated before the region was even teased or even leaked, which was they said that Hoyoverse's game Genshin Impact has all of its regions based on real life cultures. They take heavy inspiration from other cultures to create these zones. You can see this pretty easily from places like Fontaine, which is inspired by European and French culture mainly, or like Liyue, which is inspired by Chinese culture. Now, what is everybody talking about? Well, the most recent region, Natlan, is supposed to be based off of West African and indigenous American cultures. But as you can see here, you can see that all of them are pretty pale skinned, which, might be just a little bit inaccurate to what the skin tone of people from these regions actually look like. But let's debunk some of the arguments that people are having against the current boycott, where people are saying, hey man, maybe if you're trying to use cultures from West Africa and indigenous regions in America as your inspiration or the bases around the entire region, these characters should at least look like them. So let's debunk these arguments. First one that everybody's been talking about. Oh, it's a Chinese company, so they're not going to have dark skin characters. Nope. We already have other Chinese games that have dark skin characters throughout them and are still pretty successful. The two best examples I can give you are Arknights and Dislight. Now, these games are way less popular than Hoyoverse's games, be it any of their games, but they still have a lot of representation. Arknights is one of the OG kings of the gacha game space. They've been around for a very long time, and Dislight, well, I can't say anything about Dislight because I've literally never met anybody that played the game. But it's not like there isn't precedent from other Chinese companies that they also showed dark-skinned characters. Second big argument is the Chinese community doesn't care, so they aren't going to change anything. This is also wrong. As you can see, there's a lot of Chinese players that are also complaining about the lack of proper representation in Natlan, but they still weren't listened to. There's also cases of the Chinese community also complaining during Sumeru, where they were trying to they took inspiration from Middle Eastern and Southeast Asian cultures to create the region of Sumeru. But, as you can also see here, the characters that they showed in the initial reveal, they're all pretty pale. Which, as a person who's from South Asia, I'm an Indian, I don't know, man. I've never seen an Indian this pale before. So, it's completely wrong in that sense, too. And, thirdly, while it is a game, if you are specifically stating as part of some of your promotional material that you want to cater to global audiences and are trying to represent certain cultures in your game, that is going to bring in people. There are a lot of people who don't get any kind of representation of their culture or race, and seeing that a game is going to represent them, drives people to play that game and potentially even spend money. And if Hoyoverse just never stated that they were taking real life inspiration from cultures to create these zones, and it was just left to the players to discover this, we would not have this problem in the first place. But by stating that you want to take inspiration from certain cultures for your regions, it is expected of you as a company to represent these regions properly. Now, have they done that? In the music and the art style department, yes. But in their character design and representation of culture through those features, it has been a hard no. It feels like the artist side of Hoyoverse is being completely controlled by a executive side that doesn't want this kind of representation. Even though, if you've seen some of the edits for these characters, they clearly look like they were supposed to be darker skin tone. And the and this causes problems because, hey man, if one of the points of you playing Genshin Impact was the great representation of other cultures and being able to learn about different cultures through the gameplay and the little lore tidbits and character design uh of the units coming from the regions in Genshin Impact, but it doesn't properly represent them, that's a problem. You've been, misled on what the game is supposed to be. But that's it for that. Now, let me say my piece. So, we did see this exact same thing happen during the launch of Sumeru, during patch 3.0. Did anything change? No. Hoyoverse did not go back, darken the skin tones of the characters. They continue to keep everything the same, and people still tried to boycott and stop Hoyoverse from doing this and to properly represent the cultures that they're trying to use as inspiration. Now, did it affect anything? No. As you can see, based off the revenue charts of 3.0, they made a lot of money. And very good money. Now, it wasn't the best performing banner, but at that time, it was part of the best performing banners that Hoyoverse has ever released, and it was for a standard banner, a character that was going to be put on standard banner, being Tainari and Zhongli. So, clearly, the boycotts didn't work, as they didn't affect Hoyo's profit at all. And I don't think that's going to change even into 5.0 with Natlan. The reason being is that as soon as a character comes out and people like their character design, their gameplay, the story, whatever it is, even if it's a poor representation of the people that they are taking inspiration from for this region, they're still going to make a shitload of money. So this is not going to change because people who just play the game and don't pay attention to this shit or don't care about it at all are just still going to spend and continue to support the company. Now, let's talk about an actually effective way to try to force change. So, Genshin Impact is a live service game. A big part of live service games is player retention and player count data. Reason being is that in a live service game, your goal is to try to cater to the whales so that they continue feeding you lots of money, but also turn free-to-play players and low spenders into higher spenders for your game. And the way you do this is through strong player retention and maintaining a high player count for your game. Now, there are a lot of psychological tricks that live service games use to force people into a sunk cost fallacy to make them continue to play the game. And that's what player retention numbers matter about. Because the higher your player retention numbers are, the more players you are keeping locked into your game, and the more likely they are to eventually drop some amount of money and eventually become payers as well. I can go into way more detail about how this system works, as this doesn't only affect gacha games, but it affects the main game market as itself, since live services become basically the norm. But that is a different video, and I will talk about it if you guys want me to. So, how does player retention affect the company? Well, for most investors, they see player retention and player count as core data to determine the success of a game. Because the higher your player retention, the more likely people are to spend money. If you make their player retention data and player count data dip for, let's say, till the next quarter, you are going to have a way stronger effect on Hoyoverse than anything else that you do. Because whenever they do their quarterly earnings report or share information with their investors, they're going to have to show, hey man, our player count is dropping because of things we did. So that's going to force them to either A, deal with the dropping player count numbers, or B, fix what the community wants. Now, is this going to happen? I don't think so. This is a very hard ask from the community because effectively you are setting back the progress of people's accounts and lowering the amount of currency they get for gacha pulls. If you aren't playing the game every day, then you aren't getting new relics, upgrading your characters, improving your account at all, as well as not getting the daily free currency that you get by logging in and completing your commissions. This is going to set back your character progress by a lot, and it's even worse for people who are free to play, as well, your only source of pulls is through your daily commissions and events and things of that nature. And if you can't play those because you are participating in a actually effective boycott, then your account gets set back. And a lot of people who care about these kind of thing isn't going to even consider this because this harms them in a certain way more than them continuing to just be a free to play player and continue to just not spending money. But this would be the most effective way, as you are not stopping the whales and the spenders that already spend money on the game and getting them to stop spending money. We have previous data in the past from Sumeru and all of the patches regarding that region to see that it is not effective at all. So we have to choose a different method to actually enforce an effective boycott. I personally will not be participating, as for me, I do want people to have more representation in their media, right? I think it is important, and I will join a boycott if I can see it actually being effective. Because I think having people be happy about the media that they consume matters more than me getting fucking 60 Primo Gems or 60 Stellar Jade a day, right? I'm already a spender. I'll just spend money instead. That's my way. That's the whale in me talking. But that is what I believe. If you guys share a similar opinion, or you have some other opinion that you want to share, please leave it in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think. I think this is an important discussion, as this could affect how Hoyoverse treats other regions and other characters in the future if we are actually effective in our boycott. But that's going to be all from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And if you want to see more content like this or more guide content, please remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll be releasing a Changli guide shortly in the next couple days. But yeah, that's going to be all for now. I will be streaming around 7 p.m. tonight, 7 p.m. CST tonight. We will be most likely playing either some Last Epoch or Destiny 2, or maybe some other variety games if you guys want to see when you enter the stream chat. But that's going to be all from me for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.